sir. Welcome back again. Michael, Mr. Michael.
Right here, sir. Good
Sir,
morning again.
good morning, sir. Sir, how can we implement solar photovoltaic recycling? How can we establish
Re-
the policy?
Repeat the questions for me, please. Let me
How
make
can
sure I'm
we
getting
implement?
the
How can we
question.
implement the solar
Uh-huh.
photovoltaic
How can
recycling?
we implement how can we implement solar PV recycling? First, for us to implement it, education is important because, like I said to you earlier, I know of solar PV, I know of solar panel and stuff, but I never knew that it had a shelf life. So now that I know that it has a shelf life or an expiry date, that is a start because now you got to think in long term for it. And also, what is important to know is that during recycling, you can recover a significant portion of it. So education from that aspect is good, where we educate not just our policymakers and stuff, but the general population, and let them know what is solar PV, what is it used for, the importance of it at this point in time in terms of adaptation to sustainable energy, because there's no running from that. We have to adapt to sustainable energy, and then we let them know that this is what it is. We have a recycling process, just like how we can recycle plastic or we can recycle any other material. Solar PV can be recyclable. So you don't need to worry and think that after 25 years, that's the end of it. It can be recyclable. We can put system in place where for me, if I'm going to use solar PV on a home, I'm going to do it as an individual. If I'm going to use solar PV on a home, and after the shelf life or after the time or the expiry time for my solar PV, if I know that if I take it back to the company that I purchased it from, I'm going to have a reduction in the cost for the new set. It's like a continuous process. So these are all the things for me, I would try to look at as we try to implement policies to or that's going to govern or strengthen recycling of solar PV.
Thank you, sir. Sir, I got your one idea from you. That is, we need education. Okay. And Melissa, please just give me one policy. Is not should be it should not be a correct or right or wrong. We just share and something. Try to conclude it and make a one policy, and we try to generate our idea. So please think just we are in a world, we have another world. So all of you are like prime minister or ministry. So we try to implement.
Okay, one policy, sir, coming from the Environmental Management Bureau, one of the policies that already exist relative to the recycling of solar PVs here in the Philippines that are in place already are the implementation of hazardous waste management, sir. So that would be one. But I think it can be improved further by, as I've said earlier, setting up systems with providers. So, for example, if they're going to provide solar panels, they have to give us options where we can dispose of these solar panels because number one, they are space intensive or they also require proper storage facilities after their end of life use, and of course those facilities should not be leaching to the water as well. Second, I think will be acceptance of stakeholders because in our country, in the Philippines, we have to there should be a certain level of social acceptability included in the implementation, sir. So I think that would be one of the policies that we can be able to implement as coming from the implementer side of the Philippines, sir. Thank you.
Okay. From Melissa, setting of system, social awareness, and stakeholder policy, right? Give and take policy. Okay. And Emma, Mr. Emma.
Yeah.
Please.
because we are of the same country with Miss, I suppose all of her suggestions about the policy and the already implemented policies with regards to the disposal of these waste, I go for her answers too. But as a member of a college here in my place, I suppose I can just um, give some idea about the
Uh,
uh,
sir,
yeah.
idea not only for Filipino. I want to get idea like we can implement globally,
Yeah.
only Filipino. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, one of which is the implementations in the integration of the solar panels in our buildings. So remember, the one of the issues that we want to resolve is about the problem with regards to the solar farms because they are taking our agricultural lands. That is one of the problems. So we don't have space, unlike countries in countries which has deserts and other arid lands. They are this can be very useful. But in our case, if we will be having lots of solar farms in the Philippines, it may without balance may sacrifice our agricultural land. So the idea that I want to share as a policy, we can implement this installations of solar panels in green buildings. So that is one of my advocates. If you want to use that solar panels, you can install that in our buildings in the city so that it won't affect our agricultural land. And that is just one. Thank you.
So you are focusing only the rooftop solar installation, right?
We can also have the vertical installation of these solar panels.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay.
Thank you.
Then Julie, sorry, Miss Julie.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. So, uh, here in the Philippines, since we are a developing country, buying or using the solar panel is very expensive. And I think a majority of Filipino people are relying only from hydroelectric power because, as I said, solar panel is very expensive in the country. And then I would suggest also that maybe in some rich countries, for example, so they have this very good system because they have this machinery on how to recycle waste coming from PV, for example. But country like Philippines, so I think this is very difficult because where we can throw our e-waste if we don't have the recycling machinery in the country. So that's my opinion, sir. That's why maybe that is one reason why Philippines did not adapt much about the solar panel because first it is very expensive and maybe because the government still formulating this kind of system in the country. And then regarding about the e-waste materials, sir, I think the government will formulate a legal framework to address the gaps of the e-waste problem, for example, in a particular country. And then another suggestion also is maybe in education sector, and also the manufacturer will have this information drive about the proper disposing of e-waste materials because this is very hazardous in the environment. And then another thing also is maybe the government or the manufacturer will have this reward system and a reprimand schemes for a performance and non-compliance of the e-waste management system in a particular community or in a country as a whole. That's my contributions here in your topic this morning, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Julia. You have 2 points. like government may play the main role for making the policy, and also you prepare manufacturer may provide a disposal point. So they don't that one also okay. Okay, and then Kaya, Kaya, are you available now? Okay, Arlene, Miss Arlene,
Hello, sir. Good afternoon.
good afternoon.
Actually, my ideas are almost the same with my with what my colleagues have shared already. I agree with Sir Julie that there is a need for national and global information dissemination on how e-waste can be recovered, and also how it will be regulated. Because at this point in time, there is really an alarming number of e-waste that we have. Um, with regards to the solar PV installation, I also agree with Sir Ama that our agricultural lands are being used, instead of being planted with agricultural um, instead of being used in agriculture, they are used in installation of solar PVs. Like in our area, there is a plan that they will be installing solar farm, and it is quite alarming because instead of the land being used for agriculture, it will be used as a source of energy for solar panels, which is not quite sustainable on my perspective. That would be all, sir.
Okay, so you are thinking that a solar panel is not sustainable.
I think, sir,
No problem.
not in the sense that it is not sustainable.
No problem. There is no right or wrong or right. Don't worry. There is no right or wrong.
Okay, sir.
If we think if we have some negative thing, so we make the solution. If we have problem, we can make a solution. If we don't have problem, so how we don't know the problem, so how can we make it solution? You know. So
Yes, sir. Yes.
Sir, in support to Ma'am Arlen Ibasco's opinion, sir, uh, uh, uh,
yes, Julia.
yes, sir. In support to Ma'am Arlen's opinion, I'm not also really amenable about solar panel, no, because first it is very expensive, and then uh, it is good also for the rich countries because they have already this existing policy or machinery in recycling these e-waste materials coming from solar panel. So I think rich countries they can adopt this source of energy, but I think in our case, for example, I think it's still not on the process because we don't have yet this machinery on how to recycle uh, PV in the country. Thank you.
Thank you. And Augustine. Augustine, are you audible? No. Okay. Christine. Miss Christine.
Hello. I share my opinions earlier. I was saying that I definitely,
Yeah.
yes, I'm here.
Yes.
Yes, I definitely thought that I never really thought actually of the waste material that I would generate from solar. I still think it's a viable option for a country like Guyana, that we are very tropical and we have great potential for solar. And we actually had started in our presentation tonight. We'll talk a bit more about it, but we have started installation of solar, especially on governmental buildings and schools and so forth. And in the interior, where there's no access to electricity, it has proven to be a viable option. Additionally, I know the waste concern is very, very important and something that we really have to think about as we work towards sustainable development goals. However, I do think it's still a viable option if you compare it to fossil fuels and the kind of waste and carbon that is generated from that source of energy. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Anyone would like to share?
Hello, sir. This is Emmeline. Hello, sir.
Sir, please give us some.
This is Emmeline, sir.
Yes.
I'm also from the Philippines.
Wow.
I understand that yes, what my colleagues have shared a while ago, that in the Philippines there is not much of solar energy or solar panels being used here as one of the sources of renewable energy. But I also agree with Miss Christine that it is a viable source of energy that is renewable, that is being environmental friendly. But I think one good thing to start with is for the manufacturing companies, those who are manufacturing this solar powered, making this available, it could be one of their initiatives that in planning for their companies, there is a budget. There is a certain budget from their project that is to be allocated for the disposal of this waste when it reaches its lifespan already. So what I mean here is there is a portion of the manufacturing company budget where they can have initiatives, activities in their country or in their area where they can compensate. They can compensate the effect of waste that is being produced from these products that they manufacture. So that could be one a very good steps that companies can do as part also of their social responsibility. That's my just my view, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Now I would like to invite Srithol. Miss Srithol. Miss Srithol, are you available? Okay. And Augustine, would you like to share something? Kia, Augustine, would you like to share something? Or anyone would like to share any policy? Okay. Yeah, you all are right. That is the true scenario. Philippine, that is also right. Solar panel is expensive, and solar panel has a bad effect when it becomes a waste. Actually, if we skip the problem, we cannot skip it. That means we keep it already. So we have to handle it. We have to make the solution. For example, you are using a smartphone. Do you know that how much radiation of electronic device? We don't know. We are using cheaper technology, right? So we don't know the radiation of electronic device. So at the same time, like solar panel is like one solar panel, like one power station. Hydropower or other power, you need to pay every month. But if you invest, for example, you are going to invest $1,000, that is for 20 years, and that will give you electricity for 20 years, and you can pay back it after 2 years or 3 years. If you calculate it, you can find out the solution also. So, and in future, when electric vehicle available, so it would be implemented by solar panel. We cannot skip it. So, and in Filipino, in future, for example, such a small island, if we use the transmitter lines, so that can also very expensive for, instead of that, if we use a small power station for island, we improve their development, we can use a solar panel, so that can help also. And in future, actually, first take initiative from government. For example, we are talking about the e-waste. Yeah, some company they are taking, but we don't know actually how they recycle. We just know that they say that they will take it and they will recycle. We don't know that actually where they dispose it. Because last year, Bangkok News, they reported that in Bangkok, the electronic waste, they take it back and they dispose it illegally. And government noticed that and government track it. So we don't know the policy. Even they said, for example, Japan, before they used they just burned the solar panel, and that didn't maintain. But later now they are making the policy, and they are also concerned about the recycling process. So in future, company, stakeholder, government, and also local people have to be make policy together. Government monitoring the recycling industry. And if we think that only solar photovoltaic is not possible, because we can saw from First Solar, they recycle per day 300 tons. So how many days they need for recycle? Maybe 100 or 200,000 tons. So it would be, in future, it would become a combined recycling industry. Like plastic, they will recycle all kind of products. So that can be efficient. And also company, manufacturer, they have to be committed. They will take back the recycling product for produce a new solar module. And also that we need to make sure also that cheaper, if we like some Chinese company, they don't control, they didn't maintain the quality of materials also. So we need to concern about that also. So all of things, and social responsibility, people, if people are aware about that, and people need to, because of company can make a policy like after 20 years or when broke the solar panel, they may detect some money to give them a new solar panel. And each point they need to create a disposal booth and recycle properly, and everything controlled by organization. For example, if we look at European countries, they have the policy WEEE. They follow the all recycling, not only solar, and they also follow the electronic waste recycling and hazardous electronic waste recycling, like Czech Republic, Germany, Finland, France. They have they made a policy. You know, in Europe, if we look Europe, they don't have any problem for renewable energy. They already thought that how do they recycle everything, not only solar, like plastic and others component also. So if we think that, if we don't think about negative way, we will think it positive way. Solar panel help us to get electricity free. Yeah, the first it's expensive. When it will available in the market, and in future efficiency will be high, so that can help. So we cannot ignore the problem. We have to make the solution. Not only solar panel, everything like television, camera, all electronic device, we need to recycle proper way. Not just I need just only display, they took display, because so government will play the main role, but public and stakeholder, they have to be committed, because our developing countries, which our policymaker, or sometimes we try to skip it. That is the big problem. But in European countries, they try to implement the policy. So that's why they already done. So this is still now under research. I believe that in future we can develop it, and we all are policymaker from different countries, so we can implement in our country. And also from all of you, you are right. We need to, for example, if we think that social awareness, so we need to be educated. We need to know the solar panel, right? And if may not recycle, what happens? For example, my mom don't know about that. So if I couldn't inform her, she maybe try to dispose on the field, right? Without anything. She thought that it's not working, okay, throw it. So everything we need to implement, making policy, education, awareness, everything can. And also, yeah, I got many idea from Filipino. In future, I believe that you can also implement when you have opportunity to say something about that issue. Not only solar panel, you can talk about other materials also, recycling about that. When company come to develop their business in your country, you may talk about after end the life, how could they recover it. So yeah, I agree all of you, and yeah, that is the conclusion. And I believe that this is the way to implement the policy. Are there any question or anything, Melissa?
Sir, no question.
No question, right? So are you agree with me?
Yes, sir, I agree very much with you. And from the inputs of everyone.
Yeah. That is the way. So okay, we have 10 minutes remaining, right? So Melissa, maybe I don't know about you. Okay, could you
Yes, sir.
yourself? What is your profession? What are you?
My profession is, I am a chemical engineer by profession, and I work currently in the Environmental Management Bureau. So I am from Baguio City. It is found in the northern part of the Philippines. So currently my work involves water quality management, air quality management, hazardous waste management, and environmental impact assessment. So we monitor the compliance of firms and industries here in our region in the Philippines, sir. So that is my introduction.
Thank you. So you are playing a big role for Filipino. And Christian, could you introduce yourself, please?
Yes. Hi, everybody. So nice to meet you, and apologies for missing the previous classes. I finally got confirmation from my workplace that I'll be able to take the class fully. So you'll be able to see me more often. So I'm Christine Samwaro. I'm from Guyana, and I work at the Environmental Protection Agency. And similarly to the person that spoke before me, we do a lot of regulation and compliance, but specifically for me, I work in the unit that deals with biodiversity. So I work under the UN Convention on Biological Diversity. A lot of projects on ecosystem restoration and monitoring and things like that.
Okay, thank you, Cristiano. Nice to see you. And I believe in future, you and Melissa will implement policy for solar recycling or e-waste recycling industry.
Yes, definitely. Well, I think we can work together. And also, Michael is also from my country, and he's been very supportive of getting me to the class and sharing videos and so forth. So thank you, Michael.
And if you have any opportunity to work with us, because we need also your support, because I'm not a policy maker. I'm just develop the methodology for recycling. I'm working on develop the technology, not policy maker. So in future, I need your help also to implement the policy.
Yeah, I think it goes both ways because we actually don't have a recycling plan in Guyana. We have landfill, but we don't have like a recycling plan or any kind of system in place that's already out. Like it's all being planned out. So definitely any support of that kind would definitely be very, very useful to the country.
Yeah, I'm developing. I have now one project for solar recycling, and I'm developing my green lab. My motto is like not a single waste without recycling in future. So I try to work with my group, and I have collaboration. So yeah, that is because for future sustainable development, we cannot skip problem. We have to make a solution as a leader. And Michael, how about in your Africa?
Sir, I'm not from Africa. I'm from Guyana with Christine. I think you just mentioned that.
Yeah. No. I'm talking about the making policy because you see, you just know that, but in future, you need to implement also the policy in your country, right?
Yeah, like I said, like we said, we need to collaborate because like you from what I'm hearing, you have you're preparing to set up your green lab and these kind of things. Your research that you've done, we can utilize those research and we can actually put it together. Well, all right, this is what's gonna happen. We have this person who already tried and worked on this area, and this is working in this part of the world. Christine also mentioned that in Guyana, we don't have any recycling plant or anything. So this whole adaptation to sustainable energy, even though we start, it's just, I think it's still slow from where we're supposed to be. We have so many room to improve in terms of renewable, sustainable energy. So all these recycling plants and all these things, it will be great for our country at this point in time. And like I said, I maintain education is important because once the people, the policymakers, the government, and everybody come on board and understand the importance of sustainable energy source, because we cannot run from it. We have to embrace it and adapt to it and understand that even though we go to sustainable energy, this comes with some other spill off. Like apart from sustainable energy, we got to think about managing the waste from sustainable energy and all kind of things. Nothing is going to be 100% straight proof. We can't say we're going to use a wind turbine, or we say we use something and it's going to be 100% straight proof. Every day is going to be development in technology. So when we look about 25 years down the line, if we sometimes we reach a place where we somebody just develops something else who's going to even help strengthen or prolong the life of solar panel also. So we don't know what is the future is going to hold because research are going on every day. But what we know, we got to put system in place so that when we get there, you know, there are already system in place that we can move and transition smoothly into the next phase of sustainable energy.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I put my email address. So if anyone would like to make collaboration, Thank you. You just email me, then we discuss later. Thank you, sir. That's it from my side today, and stay safe. See you afternoon. Bye-bye. Goodbye, sir.
Hey, goodbye, sir. Thanks for the presentation.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you, sir. Goodbye.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome you back again.
Good afternoon.
How are you doing?
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon, sir.
So today we have country report, maybe Christiana, right? All right, Michael?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can
Yes,
hear
sir.
it. Christiana, please.
Sir,
Yes.
it's not Christine alone. It's a collaborative report between myself and Christine. Remember I spoke to you about it last night.
Okay. If
Yeah.
you to start, no problem.
All right. So we will be doing it with so we're doing it together. But Miss Christine is going to start, and then I'm going to continue. Please allow us to share our screen.
Yeah, now you can share.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. So once again, my name is Christine and my partner name is Michael, and we're both from Guyana. And we have a very short video just as an introduction, and then we'll start our presentation. Most of you are familiar with the Chef Ramsay, and he actually came to Guyana. So we have a fun little video to begin our presentation. So I'll share this little video from YouTube.
This is Georgetown, the capital of Guyana.
Is it better now?
Yes, better.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
A tiny South American country that sits right on the edge of that mighty Amazon jungle. Located on the northern edge of South America, this English-speaking nation is made up of thousands of square miles of untamed rivers and dense rainforest. I'm starting my journey on the coast, in the capital city of Georgetown, which boasts an exciting fusion of Caribbean, Indian, and European cultures. Now I'm here to meet super talented Guyanese chef Delvin Adams, who's responsible for putting this somewhat unknown cuisine on the culinary map. Thanks, bud. Good to see you, man. Take care. Right, this is the market. Where is Delvin?
There he is.
There he is.
My man. Good to see you, brother.
See you too, bud.
Welcome to my country.
An absolute pleasure. Chef Delvin Adams is determined to introduce Guyanese cuisine to the world. After honing his culinary skills in the remote jungle cooking for oil drillers, he returned to his home in Georgetown to open the Backyard Cafe, a hotspot that celebrates his country's exciting, one-of-a-kind dishes. When you think about how small the reputation of Guyanese cuisine is on the culinary map,
Right.
yeah, I'm hoping to find the DNA of that.
Well, you're gonna get that.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna show you the market area and show you how I do it.
Guyana's warm and tropical climate is year-round, growing an incredible variety of produce, everything from your garden standards. Those cherry tomatoes.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Chinese long beans. Every household is gonna use this every day.
To heartier root vegetables, one of which forms this starchy basis for much of the country's cuisine.
Cassava. This right here is the essence of what Guyana is all about.
So it's like a root vegetable.
It's a root vegetable. We got some cashew here too. Very unique product made from the bitter cassava, not the sweet cassava. And the bitter cassava has cyanide in it. And this is why you wouldn't see that selling on the marketplace. That can take a herd of elephants down.
Unless processed properly to remove the cyanide poison, bitter cassava can kill. And you'll finish.
Yes. So just a little bit if you're interested in watching the other episodes, there is Uncharted Territory by Gordon Ramsay. But now we will begin our presentation. So the video was based in Georgetown, this first half, and both Michael and I are based in Georgetown, which is our capital city. So can you do full screen, please? Thank you. So welcome to Guyana, a very tropical country. And in the photo, you'll see our majestic Kaieteur Falls, which is one of the wonders of the world. It's actually the highest single drop waterfall in the world. And in the Caribbean and in South America, it's known as a very, very important landmark. It's also part of the Kaieteur National Park. And tourists, whenever they come to Guyana, they always try to visit Kaieteur Falls, because even though it's so famous, because of where Guyana is, we're a very small populated place. So sometimes if you visit at a particular time in the year, you can be the only person there able to witness the falls by yourself. So unlike other places where it might be crowded with tourists, at Kaieteur Falls, if you're lucky, you might be the only one there. So as I mentioned before, I'm Christine and Michael, and we'll be presenting today. Next slide. So Guyana is located, we are part of the Guyana Shield, and there's 3 main countries that are part of the Guyana Shield, and which is Guyana, Suriname, and French Guyana. And this Guyana Shield here, this area is known as one of the last 4 remaining tropical frontier forests of the world. In this area, a lot of species are endemic, meaning that you're not able to find them in other parts of the world. So it's a very pristine, very biologically rich area. Next slide. A little bit about Guyana. Our population, we're a very small populated place, less than 1 million people, only 740,000 people. I think right now, because of a lot of immigrants moving to Guyana, it's probably closer to 800,000, but still not 1 million. Our land area is 600,000 square miles, or 21.6 million hectares. Our total forest cover is 87, and we're known worldwide for our forest cover because it's one of the highest compared to any other country on the planet. We're ethnically diverse, as you saw from the video. We have Indo-Guyanese, Afro-Guyanese, Amerindian, Chinese, Portuguese, and some Europeans here in Guyana. We have 9 Amerindian tribes, or indigenous tribes in Guyana, and they are the ones who resides in the interior of Guyana. When Michael presents, he'll mention that a lot of our population resides along the coast. However, our indigenous people, they live in the interior parts of Guyana, and they're known as, caretaker of the environment. And for most of it, our area is pristine, and we have to give credit to them. From the pictures, you can see Iwokrama. Go back 1 second. Yes, from the picture, you can see Iwokrama River Lodge and Research Center. And this is a very famous research center. In Guyana, a lot of researchers come from all across Europe and the Americas to study here, because at the research center, you have researchers being immersed into the tropical forest, where they're able to interact with the natural elements and complete their research in a very nature-based environment. Yes, so with that, I'm gonna pass it to Michael.
All right. So right now, good night, everybody. I'm so super excited to introduce everybody and welcome you all to our beautiful country, Guyana. And now, and at starting the presentation, my colleague mentioned that Guyana, 87% of Guyana is covered by the forested area. And if you see on this map right here, you see the green part of this map right here. This is the forested area. This area is actually considered to be the hinterland area, or the interior of Guyana. On this part here, the white part here, this is what's considered to be the coastal plain, and this is where the majority of Guyanese population resides. Along this line here, you see every line is running with the Atlantic Ocean. We have what is called a sea defense, called the seawalls or seawalls. It's a man-made sea defense because of our geographical location. We are below sea level at this point in time. Now, at this point in time, we are actually located below sea level. But, you know, all right, Guyana has 5 protected areas. We have Shell Beach, the Kaieteur National Park, where you can find the Kaieteur Falls. And I must tell you from experience, I visited there twice. Whenever the COVID is finished, the COVID pandemic is finished, I invite each and every one of you to come and have a view of this breathtaking, majestic falls. You will be blown away or taken back, as we call it. We have the Ayakarama. My colleague just highlighted the Ayakarama Resort Center. We have the Kanuku Mountains, and we have Coniston. These are considered the protected areas of Guyana. Now, Guyana, apart from the majestic Kaieteur Falls, Guyana is home to the jaguar, which is considered to be one of the largest big cat species in South America or in the world. Just look at that. And it's also called a puss or a turtle tiger. Now, at this picture here, right here, everybody can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
You see where I'm circling right there?
Yes. Is it Michael?
No, that is me right there. That is me right there. This part here is the Ayakarama. What happened, because of the protected areas, these areas are not utilized in terms of for mining or forestry or for cutting of log or timber. But we still have some people who from time to time will invade and encroach on these areas. So that's where I'm working in the, remember I mentioned to you guys, I'm a law enforcement conservation officer. Now our mandate is actually to monitor these areas and ensure that no illegal activities is being done in this area. This picture was taken on an activity in the Ayakarama Reserve. And this location here, I was telling Miss Christina's story, and I can share it with you. When we were crossing this swamp, this guy right here was a tour guide, and he reached across the swamp before us, and he was looking into the water as we come across, and everybody wanted to know why he was so puzzled, but he said nothing to us. And when we reached across the swamp, then he told us look back, and there was a big Komodi swimming in the water. He said if he had told us anything about it at that point in time, we would have panicked, and the vibration would have attracted the Komodi or get our attention, and it could have been a different story. And this is just to verify the biological makeup of our forested area. Now, this speaks about Guyana electricity generation. At this part here, if you notice this is between 2008 and 2018, this is the data we have so far. And if you notice, hydropower amounts for 0, electricity generation, natural gas, 0, coal, 0. So therefore, these three sustainable energy source, we are not utilizing it. If you look, we started using wind power, which on the 28th, we started at 71.25. And if you go to 25th, 2018, it's 350.45. So you'll see over the period of time, there was a gradual increase in the use of wind power, wind energy, and solar energy also. In 2008, we added to 97.58. And when we reached to 2018, we had 7,988.34. Nuclear energy, geothermal energy, there's 0, there's nothing there. So this shows that there's a lot of room for sustainable energy movement in terms of in Guyana. And we go down to diesel, use of diesel. And this marks a significant amount of energy used for electricity generation in Guyana at 1,093,636. And also we have fuel oil, which has a great increase, also a great percentage of our electricity generated in Guyana. This here also shows another graph showing electricity generation. And at this part here, you see this is GPL. GPL stands for Guyana Power and Light Company. This is the main electricity supplier of Guyana. And this GPL supply mostly the coastal area or the coastline for Guyana electricity. And then we have the interland utilities. And this part here is where we have more of the solar PV system set up in the interland area. So most in the interior area, that's where we utilize sustainable energy sources. This also is another graph showing the electricity generation. And you see here, HFO and LFO contributes to a significant percentage of electricity generated, which is actually 97%. And we have 1% only for solar, and bagasse is 2%. There's no wind electricity or rice. Now we go to temperature. Now, this part here talks about the maximum and minimum temperature, and this is just for a 2-year period because that is the data that was provided to us. And if you follow the graph here, you'll notice at this part here, for 2016 was the warmest year within this 2-year period, out of the 2-year period. All right, so we're talking about sustainable energy sources, and we're looking at our solar energy. So the first demonstration installation at the GA, this is a GA building in 2012. So this means that the first building that was we installed solar PV on was the Guyana Energy Agency. Solar rooftop installation on government building commenced with the installation of 0.023 megawatts of solar PV system at 8 buildings by the end of 2016, resulting in solar energy generation of 337.88 megawatts per hour. Cost saving of about Guyana $2.23 million, and avoid carbon dioxide emission of approximately 27 tons. So that was a good start. And from this project here, after this successful project, we went in and we started installing solar panel on more and more of government buildings. You see, in 2012 we had 8. 2012 and 2016, 8. And you look at me now as we go up. 2017, 90 government buildings. 2018, 109 government buildings, and 2019, 80 government buildings, giving the total at the end of 2019, 278 government buildings, solar PV panels were installed on the rooftops. So it shows that Guyana is slowly transitioning into the green economy, or using sustainable energy sources. At this point here, I hand you back over to my colleague, Ms. Christine.
Okay. Thank you so much, Michael.
Thank you, Michael. So we have been talking in the beginning of this course on mitigation and adaptation, and we know that's very significant concepts when we're talking about the environment and when we're talking about our country. So in Guyana, we have 2 major political parties, and both of them, they because of where we're located in Guyana, we are significantly below sea level. Over 90% of our population resides along the coast. Both of them agree that climate change is an important issue in Guyana, and it's an issue that they should take seriously because, again, we're extremely vulnerable to sea level rise. So in regards to mitigation and adaptation, 2 documents that are very guiding principle documents that our ministry uses Previous to this new administration, which came on last year, we were using the Green State Development Strategy, which provided an outline for development of the country within the next 40 years. When the new administration came on last year, we are now using the Low Carbon Development Strategy. So even though they're different documents, both of them basically speak to the same thing of developing the country along a low carbon pathway, and emphasizing the importance of adapting to climate change impacts, while at the same time mitigating our development and so forth along a low carbon development pathway. Next. So when it comes to adaptation, we are a country that's known for our agriculture. We have a lot of farmers, and because of extreme flooding, actually what I can say right now, May and June is actually our rainy season. And this rainy season has been extremely difficult for almost all areas of Guyana, not only on the coast. We've experienced extreme flooding this season. Water rose up to 14 feet in some areas. Some persons, their entire homes were covered. So because of that, in adapting to climate change, we have to grow drought-resistant crops. And for a lot of our ministries, mangrove is a very important developmental aspect of our country. Mangroves protect us against the sea. So if you come to Guyana, where you will often find mangroves you can find very easily in Guyana along the seawall. There are mangroves that are planted. So there's always efforts to replant and plant mangroves in a lot of projects and programs along engaging community to grow mangroves. In adapting, we have to come up with a better solid waste management plan in Guyana. Previously, I spoke about we don't have a recycling plan in Guyana. Most of our waste, all of our waste is actually, it's taken to landfill. And so you can imagine in a country that's very easily flooded, the impacts that can have. If you come to Guyana, we can also find that a lot of our houses are like, they're two-story houses. So our houses are on stilts. So because we're so prone to flooding, it's encouraged that we build higher homes, that we maintain drainage. And again, the seawalls are very important because a lot of our people, majority of our businesses, our offices are in Georgetown, which is the capital, which is located in Region 4, which is very, very close to the sea. So there's continuously maintenance of the seawalls. These structures are extremely expensive to maintain, but as part of the adaptation strategy of our country, it's a mix of protection of the seawalls and mangroves to help us battle sea level rise. And in terms of mitigation, Michael mentioned that 87% of our country is forested. So this forest is untouched. And so we actually contribute positively to the global community because we actually are considered a carbon sink. We have timber and mining that takes place. However, our forest is largely intact. I think this two reasons. Our indigenous people, they live in the interior region and they're stewards of the environment. And secondly, our population is very small. So for the most part, our forest is largely intact, and we have received a number of projects and programs. There is a Norway agreement. Basically what they did was they're paying us to protect our forest, to keep it standing, because they understand the benefits it has towards the global community in fighting against climate change. I work at the EPA, and a lot of our work, it deals with compliance and the environmental impact assessment. So most developmental projects, once they have an impact, a significant impact to the environment, they have to complete an environmental impact assessment so that we're able to monitor the benefits versus the impacts to the environment and the health of people. All that being said, Guyana is actually, we are at a historical point in our history because we are faced with large-scale fossil fuel opportunities. And in some news article, sometimes they would refer to Guyana as the new Saudi Arabia of the Caribbean, of South America, because of our large-scale fossil fuel opportunities, which was discovered in 2015. So we are at a place right now whereby for a long time we have been a carbon sink, but because of our recent development with fossil fuels, a number of oil companies are in Guyana, and we are now considered an oil producing country. So now we're at a crossroad of development along a green trajectory versus also developing this new industry in Guyana. Prior to 2015, we had never operated any oil and gas industry. I would also like to mention that even though we are embarking on these fossil fuels opportunities, there are a number of renewable projects. One in particular I can mention, there's a Hope Wind Farm, which is a large-scale wind opportunity that will be implemented in the country within the next couple of years. So the government is looking at diversifying the energy mix and not only rely on fossil fuel, but also they understand that for us to develop along a green path, we have to also invest in renewable sources of energy. Next slide. Yes. So with all that being said, we'd like to thank you so much for listening. And we actually we didn't want to keep our presentation too long. Michael has a video. So he'll play I'll end it here and then he'll play the video. So we'll just like to thank you so much for listening to the presentation aspect. And we want to engage you with some, discussions. If you have any questions, feel free to ask us. And after COVID ends, as Michael said, please feel free to visit Guyana. Him and I would act as tour guides. So Michael, you can play the video.
All right, so at this point here, we say the end, or is it the end? Because at this point, I want to invite my colleagues who are listening to this presentation right now. So if you want to dance, you dance. If you want to clap, you clap. If you want to sing, you sing. I'm looking for my video to play my video right now. Just give me a minute, because this part here is where you're going to get an understanding of our mix and our culture. Is my screen still on?
Not yet.
Not as yet.
No, I'm actually, if I'm sharing the screen still.
No, you're not.
All right, just give me a minute. Sorry if you notice, I have two systems running because of some technical difficulties. So please forgive us, all right? Or forgive me, I should say.
Okay. Thank you so much, Cristiano.
We're not finished yet. I ain't finished yet, so I'm looking for a video.
Okay.
Just can we get a video, please? All right, I suppose coming up. Bear with me, people, bear with me. I'm not getting to share my video. All right, so the video is not sharing. I'm not sure why, and this is what we need. We need this. This is a beautiful video to get everybody rocking and rolling with us right now. bear with me. Is there anybody could help me, suggest to me how I can get the video to share? Oh, it's right here. Thank you. All right, so like I said, at this point in time, I'll share this video with you guys. The video showing, everybody can see the video?
Yes, we can see the video. Hopefully we can hear.
All right. Hopefully you can hear. So at this point, if you want to dance, you dance. We cannot see you because your cameras are off. So if you want to shake and you want to dance, you can do that. At the end of the video, if you want to identify yourself as our brothers and sisters Guyanese, we welcome you. Enjoy. Everybody hear me?
Yes.
I wish you can see me because I'm dancing right now.
It don't matter where I be, I'm proud as to be me. I'll always represent, yeah, I'm always Guyanese. In everybody, inside of the fence, country people overseas, never deny your Guyanese. In the morning, in the evening, in the day, in the night, I tell you.
Just bear with me, please. Now, this video is going to speak to the low carbon development strategy that my colleague was just talking about also. So you're getting a full insight of Guyana.
Pristine forests are its most valuable asset. Almost 80% of its territory consists of tropical rainforest that is still largely untouched. This is in excess of 15 million hectares that can yield some $600 million per year for forestry, agriculture, and mining activities. Conservative valuations of the economic value to the world provided by Guyana's rainforest suggested that, left standing, they contribute $40 million to the global economy each year. Many of today's richest countries actively pursue deforestation and land conversion to agriculture. Reconciling the tension between protecting its rainforests and pursuing economically rational development is the core challenge that Guyana is seeking to address through its low-carbon development strategy. Anywhere I go, I got my flag, my GT flag. In this country, six away in harmony, six away, and everybody I reckon, inside of the club I reckon, country people overseas, never deny your Guyanese.
All right. So with that said, now, I hope everybody get a better understanding of Guyana, where Guyana is located, what we're about and everything. Thank you very much for listening. Any last words to my colleague, Ms. Christine, before we turn it over to sir?
Thank you so much, Michael. I hope everyone enjoyed the video, and we definitely look forward to questions about Guyana. A lot of persons confuse our country with Ghana in Africa, which it's okay, but we are our own country in South America. So we'd love to answer any questions you may have, especially as it relates to the environment and our forests and, you know, anything of that sort. We could even tell you a little bit about what it's like living in Guyana. We definitely want to interact with you and hear from you. So thank you so much for listening.
Thank you so much, Christiana and Michael, for your wonderful presentation. And we know about Hughes, about your country, and you are supporting us to stop the climate change. So that is your big contribution for us. And now I have two friends, Christian and Michael. After COVID, I will visit Ghana. I'm sure.
Yes, please do.
Trust
We'll
me,
be tour guides.
everybody, you guys need to come.
Yeah,
You need
just
to come. Beautiful.
send me your email address and or send me an email, then we'll join. Thank you so much for your wonderful presentation. And are there any question from audience?
Hello, sir. Good afternoon from Philippines.
Yes.
Sir Michael, I would let you have mentioned or you projected that you have great waterfalls, you have rivers, and then I have noticed also that you don't have hydroelectric power plant. Why not convert your waterfalls or rivers into dams so that you can generate hydropower electricity in your country? Thank you.
All right, that's a great question, and thanks for asking that question. If you remember the first time I introduced myself and introduced the country, and we talked about sustainable energy source, I mentioned that we had embarked on an hydropower plant in our country years ago. However, for whatever unknown reason, I cannot give the reason, that project was put on hold. They had to do another feasibility study. I think my colleague, Ms. Christine, could also elaborate some more on it. So we had, even though we noted, we realized that we had this large amount of water and falls and stuff, and that's the reason why we went to that project. But Ms. Christine, if you want to shed some light on the hydro project.
Yes, thank you so much for that question. And definitely, that's something that we, as like young people in Guyana, we grow up knowing our country has a lot of hydro potential. We have a numerous waterfalls. Kaiecho Falls is just one. Um, However, yeah, we had embarked on a hydro plant, the Amelia hydro plant, and a lot of work was done, but a lot of these projects, as you can imagine, I'm sure similarly in your country as well, a lot of these projects, they have a lot of political ties to them. And I think in this case, there was a lot of political mix with companies involved and so forth. I know hydro has a lot of impacts on the environment, but I think it would have been a great mix in the diversification of our energy mix that we would have in the country. So I actually like that question, and it's something that in all our classes we always talk about, the potential. We actually have potential for wind, for solar, for a lot of variety of renewable energy sources, but only now we're embarking on these things.
Okay, thank you, Ma'am Christine and Sir Michael.
Any other questions?
I think I want to give some thoughts with the presentation of Michael and Christine. Yeah, thank you very much for that very nice presentation, because there's a lot of countries in the whole world, and of course you cannot one by one look into their history and their place. And of course, I take the opportunity of scanning scanning your place to the map, and I have observed that your place is very nice. Not only the 87% of forest that you have, but also the city planning of the Georgetown. So I have, even though the nearby communities, so I have seen there that the houses are very nice. They are well planned, and also the farms here, they are well planned, unlike in our place. So what could you give us some thoughts about this?
That's a very interesting question. There's something, I guess, in the video in Georgetown, a lot of persons reside on the coast, as we mentioned, like majority of the people resides along the coast. So actually what we are embarking on right now is still coming up with, I think we were
I suppose the signal, Christian signal is not okay.
Can anybody hear me? I think
Yeah.
I think my colleague's signal is probably bad at this point in time. Yeah, you were asking about if we can give advice in terms of our the country's
we were
layout.
organization, and like so they've done a lot of work compared to the other groups. Independence.
Christiana.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we lost a few minutes.
Okay. All right, can you hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now.
Okay, so what I was saying is it's interesting that the person mentioned that we have some kind of a layout, because for us in our agency, what we're working on right now is creating more so of like a better urban planning map, so to speak, because what you find in Guyana, sometimes you would find like residential homes near like cemetery, next to now we have a lot of developmental activities happening that comes with oil and gas. So we're actually working towards developing this urban, like a better urban plan for our city specifically. And we have a lot of new housing scheme that's coming up, like affordable housing and so forth for people. And I think those more so are more planned out, more so than in the city right now. Because if you come to Guyana in the city of Georgetown specifically, it's a bit chaotic on a day-to-day basis in terms of getting transportation, where farmers sell their produce and stuff. It can be a little bit chaotic.
Yeah, thank you very much for that, Christine. Because I was just very happy because in our place we haven't had this kind of very good city plan. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you, Christine, and thank you, Emma. Are there any questions from audience? Okay. Any country presentation remaining?
How about the Philippines, sir?
Yeah. Have Miss Augustine and Harmawan. Two. Yeah, Augustine.
I have been presented yesterday.
Yesterday, okay. Augustine?
I do the same thing with Hermawan, sir. We have presented our report country yesterday, sir.
Oh, okay. So no report, right? So are there any question from Michael and Christine?
Not so far, sir.
Okay. So
no, thank you.
See you tomorrow and stay safe. Bye-bye.
Okay,
Thank
sir.
you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Good night, everybody. Thank you, everybody.
Good night, everybody.